screen and hear me still, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Not yet? Don't start yet?
Yeah, you can start now. Thank you.
Welcome, dear devotees, to our Sunday Feast lecture. Temple is still in closure because of the extreme risk that's being presented by COVID currently. Hopefully this will settle down in due course of time. Thank you all for joining. Hare Krishna. So I'm going to speak or repeat Srila Prabhupada's words and the words of acharyas and senior devotees and spiritual masters on verse 18.68 in Bhagavad Gita. This one and the next one basically actually constitutes the last instruction that Lord Krishna gives in the Gita. And I picked this one basically because it's December, and December is oftentimes considered book distribution month by devotees. So that's why I picked it. Okay, if you can't see or anything, then or you want to pull it up on your own computer or your own book, it's chapter 18, verse 68. Namom Vishwapadaya Krishna Prasnaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Tanamane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashtatai Deshatarane. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Let me just set my phone on ringer. We'll read chapter 18, Bhagavad Gita, verse 68. Yaedam paramam guhyam mad bhakteshu abhidyasyati bhakti mai param kritva mam eva ashyati asamshaya. Yaedam paramam guhyam mad bhakteshu abhidyasyati bhakti mai param kritva mam eva ashyati asamshaya. Yaedam paramam guhyam mad bhakteshu abhidyasyati bhakti mai param kritva mam eva asyati asamshaya. Would anyone else like to chant this verse?
Ya idam paramam guhyam madbhakteshava bidashyati bhaktim mai param kritva mam evaishyati asamshayaha.
Thank you, Nitya Mataji. Anybody else would want to take a try at this one?
Ya idam paramam guhyam mad bhakteshva avidhyashyati bhaktim mai param kritva mam avishayat ashamsaya.
Thank you, Manoj Prabhu. Anybody else? Any last taker?
Paramam Kuyam Madbhakteshva Abhidasyati Bhakti Mai Param Kritva Mam Aivaishyati Samshayaha.
Who chanted that? I couldn't see who it was.
It was me, Shabani.
Oh, Hare Krishna. Shabani, how are you?
Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other takers?
Ya idam paramam guhyam madbhakteshu abhidashyati bhaktim mai param kritva mami vaishyati asamshaya.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, I will read word by word. Ya, anyone who, idam, this, paramam, most, guhyam, confidential secret, mat, of mine, bhakteshu, amongst devotees, avidyasati, explains bhaktim, devotional service, mai, unto me, param, transcendental, kritva, doing, mam, unto me, eva, certainly, isyati, comes, asamshaya, without doubt. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. For one who explains the supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed. And at the end, he will come back to me. For one who explains the supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed. And at the end, he will come back to me. Once again, for one who explains this supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed. And at the end, he will come back to me. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Generally, it is advised that Bhagavad Gita be discussed amongst the devotees only. For those who are not devotees will understand neither Krishna nor Bhagavad Gita. Those who do not accept Krishna as he is and Bhagavad Gita as it is should not try to explain Bhagavad Gita whimsically and become offenders. Bhagavad Gita should be explained to persons who are ready to accept Krishna as a supreme personality of Godhead. It is a subject matter for the devotees only and not for philosophical speculators. Anyone, however, who tries sincerely to present Bhagavad Gita as it is will advance in devotional activities and reach the pure devotional state of life. As a result of such pure devotion, he's sure to go back home, back to Godhead. Ya idam paramam guhyam mad bhakteshu avidyasati bhaktim mai param kritva mameva ashyati asamshaya. So this verse is oftentimes paired with this verse. 18.69. Nacha tasman manusheshu kashin me priya kritama bhavita nachama me tasmad anya priya taro bhuvihi. So kashin me priya kritam bhavita. So translation, anyone to me priya, more dear, will become. So Srila Prabhupada translates, there's no servant in this world more dear to me, nor will there ever be one more dear. So I'm hoping to, for my own benefit, try to understand this verse in a broad-minded way. So our acharyas teach us that the verse basically states the result for one who teaches or explains the Bhagavad Gita, this scripture. That one who explains, sometimes also called preaching, one who explains, this word avidyasati, explains, one who explains or preaches or teaches, what happens? Param kritva mam. So they attain pure bhakti. Parama kritva mam. By doing that, they attain pure bhakti unto Krishna. And the consequence of that is mam eva ashyati samsaya. The section, mam eva ashyati. So one who explains this most wonderful Gita to others, to the bhakteshu, to the devotees, what happens? They have param bhaktim. They attain pure devotion. And as a consequence of that, the secondary result is they come unto me. They come to me or they attain me. So we know that in Gita, a verse that Srila Prabhupada most often emphasized was Sarva Dharma 18.66. Sarva Dharma Pratiyaji Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tam Sar Papebhyo Mokshi Sami Ma Suchaha. Abandon all varieties of religion, just surrender to me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. Very famous, well-known verse. However, as we just saw, Sarva Dharma Pratyaja is not actually the conclusion of the instruction of Gita. When you, for example, if you have a spiritual master or a very senior devotee and they give you instruction, usually, just like in a book, the last paragraph is the most important. And you'll see that in every single chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada distills the essence in the very last purport, in the very last paragraph for every chapter. So there's some, Sarva Dharma is an instruction, not necessarily the conclusion, is the way some acharyas explain it, that there's something that comes after that. Because two verses after that comes this. Yaidam paramam guhyam mad bhakteshu abhidyasati bhakti mai param kritva mam eva ashyati samsaya. This is the ultimate instruction that Lord Krishna gives Arjuna and gives to us. For one who explains the supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end he'll come back to me. There's no servant that is more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. So the Lord, says, surrender unto me, right? Like that book by Bhujan Prabhu. But we can ask, okay, I'm a teacher, I'm a mother, I'm a father, I'm so-and-so, I'm an engineer. What should be my occupation after I abandon my dharma and surrender to you? Most people think the activity is their dharma. The Lord says, what you should do is explain the supreme secret, guhyam, to others. And then he reassures us that if you actually do that, then what will happen? Pure devotional service is guaranteed and you'll come back to me. Srila Prabhupada would say, one who preaches the message of Bhagavad Gita to my devotees is most dear to me, and no one can excel him in satisfying me by my worship. And we may say, wait a minute here. It's saying Bhakteshu, supreme secret, explains this supreme secret to the devotees. So I'm going to try to explain this in two ways. Both by, explained by acharyas and by spiritual masters. So one can say, okay, but Krishna, you're saying to explain it to devotees. Why are we going to go, then why do we go and distribute books outside? Why do we do Sankirtan outside? Why do you explain to people at our work, people in our extended families about your teachings, your words? Well, the idea is, if you read Gita chapter 2, you see in 3, and the middle 6 chapters, you see that in a sense, everyone is a devotee. Because who's not a spirit soul? And where does the spirit soul come from? And to whom is the spirit soul connected? Eternally. So in the ultimate sense, everyone is a devotee. Everyone is connected to Krishna. No one can take that away from anyone. And that's actually the normal, happy condition of every jiva, every soul. The challenge is that some of us have forgotten it. And so we accept, these upadhis, these false designations, desires, activities. And that's a challenge we have to solve in this lifetime. So it's not that there are two types of souls. Nowhere in the Shastra does say there's one soul called a devotee and there's other soul called a non-devotee. The soul is eternally the same. And I'm not talking about loss of individuality, but the nature of the soul is the same. And in a very fundamental manner, the soul can't be contaminated by material nature. Srila Prabhupada explains to us that problem is when the soul wants to enjoy in this material world, he associates with ignorance, material ignorance. And through the modes of nature, as we know, this is a very important topic in Gita. Lord Krishna spends 4 chapters talking about modes of nature. And our subtle body, the false ego, material intelligence, and material mind. Srila Prabhupada says for false ego, intelligence, and mind that there's real ego, there's spiritual intelligence, and there's a spiritual mind. But through the mode of nature, and specifically ignorance, these layers accumulate, and the soul appears to be something else. But this is actually a material way of looking at things, since eternally the soul is transcendental to these coverings and is the same. Satchidananda. So as devotees, we need to see that that other person we're approaching, that other jiva, is not a non-devotee, but rather ignorance is covering that jiva. And so when you go out in explaining Gita to someone, or book distributing, or going to your work and trying to explain, it's not that we're in a mode of fighting somebody, etc. What we're fighting is, Srila Prabhupada, you say fight against Maya. It means to fight against ignorance. So the idea here, Acharya say, is that the devotees doesn't mean that there's devotees and non-devotees. Everyone is a devotee. But there can be covered devotees. And an example of this is here in Prahlad Maharaj's prayers. Tasmat sarveshu bhuteshu dayam krita sardam bhavamashuram machaya yatushyati adhokshaja. Therefore, my dear young friends, born of demons, please act in such a way that the Supreme Lord, who is beyond the conception of material knowledge, will be satisfied. Give up your demonic nature and act without enmity or duality. Notice he says, give up the nature. Show mercy to all living entities by enlightening them in devotional service. Do you see how Prahlad's instructions are same as Lord Krishna's instructions? Show mercy to all living entities by enlightening them in devotional service, thus becoming their well-wishers. So Prahlad Maharaj, here I highlighted a very nice section here. Prahlad Maharaj ultimately instructed his class friends, the sons of demons, to accept the process of devotional service by preaching the science of Krishna consciousness to everyone. Preaching is the best service to the Lord, which in verse 68 is called explaining. Preaching is the best service to the Lord. The Lord will immediately be extremely satisfied with one who engages in the service of preaching Krishna consciousness, right? So Prabhupada's indirectly referring to 18.68, where Krishna himself says this. And 6.9. This is confirmed by the Lord himself in Gita, Nacha tasman manusheshu kaschin me priya kritama. There's no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. If one sincerely tries his best to spread Krishna consciousness by preaching the glories of the Lord and his supremacy, even if he's imperfectly educated, he becomes the dearmost servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even if he's imperfectly educated. This is bhakti. As one performs this service for humanity without discrimination between friends and enemies, the Lord becomes satisfied and the mission of one's life is fulfilled. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore advised everyone to become a guru devotee. Notice hyphenated, guru-devotee, and preach, meaning explain Krishna consciousness. Yara dekha tarakaha Krishna upadesh. That is the easiest way to realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why is Srila Prabhupada saying this? Because Krishna himself says that. Param bhaktim. By such preaching, the preacher becomes satisfied, and those to whom he preaches are also satisfied. This is the process of bringing peace and tranquility to the entire world. So, if we go back to this verse, to preach and explain the Gita and to distribute books and to go out, chant the holy name, is the ultimate instruction of the Gita. And it's no wonder that Srila Prabhupada stresses this point so much. Why? Because Srila Prabhupada, is thinking along this line. As Krishna's pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada is concerned about our ultimate well-being. That's why he always signs, your ever well-wisher. He wants us to explain and preach and distribute and chant and share our Krishna consciousness and become dear to Krishna. Because doing this makes us dear to Krishna, as we explained. So what? So we can actually join Krishna and Srila Prabhupada in the spiritual world. So Srila Prabhupada's encouragement for sharing Krishna consciousness, explaining the Gita to others, stems from this desire that it's for the ultimate welfare of the person who's explaining, and as he says, the preacher becomes satisfied, and those who he explains to also become satisfied. Because Srila Prabhupada is thinking, what would be the best thing for these souls? So how to do that? We hear of the term Sankirtan. Sankirtan means complete glorification, also Kirtan altogether. So you'll see in Gita that there's a comparison and contrast between the bhakti process and the impersonalist or mystic yoga or the Ashtanga yoga, Dhyan yoga process. Our process, the bhakti yoga process, is based on cooperation and association. And it's very different from the Ashtanga yoga or the impersonalist process, which is based on, you can read it in chapter 6, solitary meditation and self-advancement. Solitary meditation versus cooperation versus self-advancement. Very different. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appreciates this because he says here in Chaitanya Chaitanya Adi Lila 9.34, he says, Ekala malakara ami kahan yaba, ekala vav kata phal padiya vilaba. I'm the only gardener. How many places can I go? How many fruits can I pick and distribute? Here's Srila Prabhupada's wonderful purport. Here, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu indicates that the distribution of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra should be performed. So this is in chapter where he's having conversation on the desire tree of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So here, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu indicates that the distribution of Hare Krishna Mahamantra should be performed by combined forces, i.e. cooperation and association. Although he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he laments, how can I act alone? How can I alone pick the fruit and distribute it all over the world? This indicates that all classes of devotees should combine to distribute the Hare Krishna Mahamantra without consideration of time, place, or situation, i.e. Lord Krishna's instruction that we should try to explain the Gita as Krishna has spoken to others, and that way benefit them and benefit ourselves. We see this example of extreme compassion and lack of self-aggrandizement, meaning lack of false ego, in the example of the gopis, the most elevated of Lord Krishna's associates. When we read about the gopis, and we read it in a devotional mood, they are not striving to see Krishna themselves. they're actually using all their energy to make arrangements so that others may see Krishna and be engaged in his service. They're acting like that because they don't want to just enjoy for themselves. They want Krishna to enjoy. That's the secret of this verse. They want Krishna to enjoy. Why? Because Krishna needs associates with whom to enjoy. He doesn't enjoy in isolation. They need associates for him to enjoy himself. Krishna needs that. He can't enjoy by himself. That's why Srimati Radharani is there. That's why the Vrajvasis are there. That's why Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj are there. That's why Madhu Mangal and Subal are there. Krishna needs them to associate with, so he can actually enjoy himself. So he has unlimited number of associates. And Krishna is so expert that there's no limit to how much or how many associates he can reciprocate with. And the amazing thing is that the reciprocation and love between Krishna and those that are associates of his is always increasing. Why is it always increasing? Because as it's increasing, Krishna's pleasure is increasing unlimitedly. So the gopis, understanding this desire of Krishna to enjoy, and that the only way he can enjoy is with other associates, they're trying to constantly increase that, make arrangements so Krishna can do that. So, when Krishna comes to this world, to our material world, we know, Krishna tells us in chapter 4, Janma Karma Chame Divyam, he comes to attract us. This is a unique aspect of Krishna's Leela, on his descent. For example, Sri Ramchandra's Leela is to show how one can be the exemplary human being. Krishna's Leela is not that. Krishna's Leela is to show what the spiritual world is like. It's as if Krishna's parting the curtains and showing you here, this is the spiritual world. This is what it's like. That's what Krishna's amazing nature of Krishna's Leela. He's trying to attract us to enjoy with him. So when the gopis see someone who's sincere desire to associate with Krishna, then they can teach this jiva how to love Krishna. Srila Prabhupada talks about make arrangements so that this jiva can return back to eternal position as an associate of Lord. Srila Prabhupada used to say when Srimati Radharani sees a devotee chanting Krishna's name, she tells Krishna, please accept him. See how sincere he and she is. And so Krishna can't refuse, because Krishna wants to enjoy that reciprocation. So we can take it on the example of such elevated souls like the gopis. And you can see this mood of explaining and distributing in this way, the prayers of separation by the gopis. In Canto 10, chapter 31, verse 9. Tava katha mritam tapta jivanam kavibiriditam kamla shapaham shravana mangalam shrimadattatam bhuvi granati bhurida jana. The nectar of your words and the description of your activities are the life and soul of those suffering in this material world. These narrations transmitted by learned sages eradicate one's sinful reaction and bestow good fortune upon whoever hears them. These narrations are broadcast all over the world and are filled with spiritual power. Certainly those who spread the message of Godhead are most munificent. So I was listening to a lecture by Vijay Prabhu, the book distribution minister. He was saying, Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam. That your words are like nectar for those who are suffering the pangs of material existence. Your words, your supreme secret, they're like nectar for those who are suffering. And it's the life of soul of the devotee. It's the life and soul, Param Bhaktim, of the devotee who desires to serve you. Tava kata mritam tapta jivanam kavi bhir editam kamlashato. Kavi, that those great thinkers, those great souls, those great sages, they practice that simply by hearing your glories, they become free from all sinful reaction. This word, kamlasatam. Become free from sinful reaction. And Shravana Mangalam. Mangalam, we know, is very nice. Great spiritual benefit when it's heard. Most amazing benefit to hear your words, to hear your glories. And Shrimad Atatam. Very powerful process to broadcast. There's a lot of spiritual power in doing that, broadcasting, explaining Krishna's message and his words to everybody. It's a powerful process to go to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Bhuvi granati ye purida janaha. Those persons who are distributing this knowledge, they're most munificent. So if you think about it, this is a Sankirtan verse spoken by the gopis. It's a Sankirtan verse. It's telling us how important it is to be in this mood of wanting to explain Krishna's words and his glories to everyone. It benefits us and it benefits those that hear. And, note the word most munificent. So who is the most munificent devotee? Srimati Radharani, and who's in the mood of Radharani? Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. Mahavadanyaya. So when Krishna comes as Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he exhibits this same mood. Freely distributing love of Godhead and bringing everyone he meets to pure devotion service. And this is true not only in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, those that were his direct associates, but also, others, like not only the six Goswamis, etc., but, Srila Narottama Das Thakur, Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, our acharyas are in our sampradaya, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, and Srila Prabhupada. There we know, if you read about the lives of these individuals, these great souls, we know it's been described that they're intimate associates of the gopis and Srimati Radharani, and that they've come to help us, to teach us how to love Krishna, to selflessly work to increase Krishna's pleasure, give him joy, and give us this opportunity to obtain pure devotional service and come back to Krishna. And that's what, explaining book distribution, Sankirtan is all about. How to love Krishna selflessly and unconditionally. Giving pleasure to the Lord by engaging more and more jivas in his service. In a mood of cooperation, not that, I'm the only one who can, do this. No. That's not the instruction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He himself is saying, I'm the only gardener. How many places can I go? How many fruits can I pick and distribute? So Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj used to say, do not try to see Krishna, but act in a way that Krishna will want to see you. Notice the word want to see you. So when will Krishna want to see us? You know? Lord Chaitanya in Antya Leela, chapter 3, description of Haridas Thakur says to Haridas Thakur, Iha sabra kaun mate hai bi nistara, taha he tu na dekhe e dukha apara. How will these yavanas be delivered? To my great unhappiness, I do not see any way. Here's Srila Prabhupada's very nice purport. How Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was always thinking about the deliverance of the fallen souls is shown by the statement, E dukha apara. It is my great unhappiness. This statement indicates that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, is always very unhappy to see the fallen souls in the material world. Therefore, he himself comes as he is, or he comes as a devotee in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to deliver love of Krishna directly to fallen souls. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so merciful that he not only gives knowledge of Krishna, but by his practical activities teaches everyone. Notice, teaches everyone. Explains, teaches, preaches, teaches everyone how to love Krishna. Krishna Prema Pradayate. And how does Haridas Thakur, Srila Haridas Thakur respond to this? He says, Haridas kahe, Prabhu chintana kariha, yavaner samsara dekhe, dukha na bhaiva. Srila Haridas Thakur replied, my dear Lord, do not be in anxiety. Chinta na karihe. Do not be unhappy. Dukha na bhaiva. To see the condition of the yavanas in material existence. When the Lord is unhappy because of the condition of the fallen souls, the devotee consoles him, saying, my dear Lord, do not be in anxiety. This is service. Everyone should adopt the cause of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to try to relieve him from the anxiety he feels. This is actually service to the Lord. One who tries to relieve Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's anxiety for the fallen souls is certainly a most dear and confidential devotee of the Lord. Wonderful instructions. I have a document where Srila Prabhupada, so this is the mood. We're trying to explain the Gita, Lord Krishna's words and its glories for the benefit of everyone. Why? Not because one gets book points or one gets other points or temple makes funds, but because the desire is there to help all jivas come to bhakti and to go back to Krishna. Why? Because Krishna's pleasure is supreme. And Krishna wants to enjoy, and he can enjoy unlimitedly with unlimited number of jivas. How to do this practically? How do we explain the Gita and Krishna's glories practically? Srila Prabhupada wrote an essay in this magazine called as you most of you know, there used to be a magazine that Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj used to publish called The Harmonist. And then after Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj left the planet, some of his dear disciples published this book, this magazine called The Rays of the Harmonist. And the essay you can find in BTG, Back to Godhead, in 1956. It's called Karunya Avitara na Kalau. So Karunya, most merciful, Avatar, descent of the Lord, Kalu, Kali Yoga. So who is that? That's Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Srila Prabhupada gives us some wonderful instructions on how we can explain. to our friends, our families, to strangers, to our work colleagues, to our extended families. So Prabhupada says, how can a dumb man become a great orator? Meaning a great speaker. If one preaches the pure, unadulterated teachings of Sriman Mahaprabhu, then and only then is it possible. And those of you who haven't read 1950s BTGs, please read them. It's very sweet and very intimate. There wasn't the big ISKCON worldwide movement manifest at that point, but you can see Srila Prabhupada's very compassionate mood and how simple and gentle he was with everyone. So Srila Prabhupada goes on and says, but the moment we mix Sriman Mahaprabhu's pure teachings with even a few words of our own speculation, it marks our greatest misfortune. This act alone becomes the root cause of our complete destruction. And then another emphasis, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not come to teach anything abstruse, meaning anything complicated. That would be difficult for the common people to comprehend. If he had done so, then there is no meaning to the statement that he inundated the whole world with prema. Because there's no, if it was so complicated, then how would that even be possible? Prabhupada goes on to say, he's certainly more intelligent than each and every one of us. And he knows how to make the fallen souls of Kali Yuga best understand his high-level teachings. His teachings are indeed comprehensible by all. Everyone can understand them. Still, our misfortune prevails. And Srila Prabhupada points out two things that limit us in the ability to explain. So I'm just speaking in a practical manner. This is the instruction of Lord Krishna to explain, and how do we do that? So Srila Prabhupada says, first, we don't accept Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings. That's a problem. Problem one. Problem two is we want to impress others with our prowess. We mix something of our own with them, meaning something of a little bit of our own and a little bit of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Krishna's instructions. He goes on to say, only the endeavor to spread the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in a simple manner, while being careful not to manipulate them, even slightly, that will be our soul bhajan. So we should accept the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Krishna, apply them in our lives, and we should try to present them purely without other instructions that we have come up in our own mind. Then Srila Prabhupada continues, he says, if a person waits till he becomes perfect before he disseminates teachings of Lord Krishna, he'll be deprived of the service of preaching. He will remain in that immature state throughout his whole life. So the idea is not that we become experts in explaining, experts in all the logic behind Gita and Bhagavatam. That's not what Srila Prabhupada is saying. He says, this is very famous, he says, even if we fully lack the capacity to understand the pure and simple teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, if we just pass them on, carrying them to the next person like a load-carrying donkey, we'll still receive Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Krishna's blessings. Even if we fully lack the capacity to understand the pure and simple teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, if we just pass them on, carrying them to the next person like a load-carrying donkey, we'll still receive Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's blessings. And then he ends with a caution. He said, this is, of course, provided we do not adulterate those teachings with any of our own mental speculations. So, to explain the supreme secret, straightforward, right? Srila Prabhupada explains it in such a nice way in the introduction. and in every purport how to explain that we're jivas, we're eternal souls, we've accepted a body, that's not our natural happy condition. Lord Krishna is our eternal well-wishing Father. We have a relationship with Him. And there are simple ways we can just add Him to our lives. And not change anything that Lord Krishna or Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say. Just say it exactly like the way they say it. So I want to end by, it's 12:20, I want to end by another way to think about this, the supreme secret, explain the supreme secret to the devotees. So here's a secret about that. Because when you think about it, Krishna is saying, in one level, we're thinking Krishna is saying, explain the secret to the devotees. But what's the gain to explain this secret to a devotee who already knows the secret, right? It seems kind of reverse. What's the value in explaining a secret of Krishna's words to a devotee who already knows this, who by definition already knows the secret? So this explanation is given by spiritual masters. This is in the mood of Trinadapi Sunechana, humility. The real idea behind this, one idea is that this preaching of teaching Krishna's words to others is actually meant for us to become devotees, not to make others devotees. It's meant for us to become devotees. Explain this supreme secret to the devotees, for us to become devotees, not that we're trying to make other devotees. In other words, preaching, explaining Sankirtan, book distribution is really meant for who? It's really meant for purifying ourselves. We have to consider that only we are the non-devotee. Only we are the non-devotee. Everyone else is a devotee. So that's another wonderful way to understand this. And a very humbling way to understand it. So if we want to really surrender to Krishna, sarvadharma pratiyaje, if we want to be dear to Krishna, like Krishna says in this subsequent 69, if we want to become kaschin me priya, if we want to become dear to Krishna, we want to be noticed by Krishna and by Srila Prabhupada, his pure devotee, then you have to simply abhidasyati. You just have to explain without altering what Krishna is saying. Just have to teach Krishna consciousness. And we can each do it in our own way. Everyone has their capabilities, their special abilities, and their natural limitations. Everyone has some material condition, maybe physical limitation, maybe psychological, that we're shy, can't approach somebody. That's okay. Or socially, we're not in an elevated position, or financially, culturally, we don't speak their language really well. So we all have unique challenges and unique abilities, but everyone, according to this verse, has to find the best possible way that she or he can take up the spirit of explaining Krishna's words and thereby increase Krishna's pleasure and thereby benefit those that we're explaining to and benefit ourselves so that we can actually become a devotee by purification. Charity starts at home. But, we all have this important way we can do it, and you can do it in the most natural way. Puna Mataji was telling me one time she had to go to a funeral of a family friend, etc. And she just, in a very humble manner, said, "I'm just going to take Gita and I'm just going to extend the Gita to them and encourage them to read the Gita." And that's wonderful. You're not adding something, you're not taking something away. You're just simply, what Srila Prabhupada calls, for all of us, he says, if we just pass the simple and pure teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Krishna, carrying them to the next person like a load-bearing donkey, then we receive Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's blessings. So anyone and everyone can do that. You can do it at your work. You can do it at your home. You can do it with extended family. It's not the number of people that counts. It's our sincerity of purpose that counts. Okay, I left about 5 minutes for discussion. And like I said at the very beginning, I was inspired to talk about this verse because it's Sankirtan. Just like, this verse by the gopis, this beautiful prayer, that's Sankirtan. This verse by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that's Sankirtan. This verse by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that's Sankirtan. That's trying to explain Krishna's glories in his words. So maybe we can all come together and cooperate like devotees have done so nicely. We have devotees doing already book distribution, and even with the COVID lockdown, through their Gita groups, their Bhakti Riksha groups, their daily online Gita study groups, expanded, 6-month presentations. We have devotees doing Motal Gita, putting out Gita, simply, extending Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy without any, personal gain. A lot of devotees are doing this, and this is wonderful. The more, the merrier. Not one person doing a lot, but everybody doing a little. So we can all, sorry, there's a bug flying around. We can all kind of meditate on how best we can serve Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission and how best we can try to get pure devotional service and go back to Krishna. So maybe we can have a conference call at some point if you all like, or whoever likes. I know there are many of you that love extending the scriptures to others. So maybe we can do that at some point if the desire is there. If the desire is there, simply type it up in the chat window and what time would work best for you, and then we can try to do. Okay, any questions, comments, additions, reflections? Sorry.
Okay, wonderful class as usual. I had a quick question.
Sure.
Your whole class was based on how that's the essence, at least I took away, how important it is to share service, encourage others to do service, and so forth. I'm just wondering, like based on personal experience and also being in management and so forth, how should one decide how much is sharing? In the sense, like, am I being lazy and then giving or making others do the service, or am I, like, with all best wishes, encouraging them to do service? So how do we maintain that balance?
Well, I think in order to share, I think that's why I said in the end that we all have our challenges and our physical, social, emotional, cultural limitations. And Krishna is not saying here that thou shalt go and explain to 100,000 people, and then pure devotional service is guaranteed, and then you will only come back to me. He's saying just explain it. He's not setting a number. Krishna can reciprocate, unlimitedly, as we discussed. You can certainly pray for others so that they have the potency to share in a transparent way. You can support others if you can't, do it in one way. Like if you can't host a bhakti rickshaw, then you can participate in a bhakti rickshaw. If you can't go out and if we can't go out and distribute books because of, whatever, we are shy, we're uncomfortable, we don't feel we know enough, although Srila Prabhupada gives his answer and what he thinks about us feeling we're not capable enough, then we can support it by sponsoring books, sponsoring prasadam, etc. So I think, how one does it has to be very personal and has to be within one's capability and not causing distress to one. And it shouldn't be in a mood of competition. That's mode of nature. That's not mode of service. I've heard from spiritual masters that mood of service destroys the mode of nature. So it should be done in mood of service, whatever you can do. Would you like to add more? I'm sure you've contemplated this, question, concern as well.
No, Prabhu, it's all right. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's nice.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments? It's 12:30. There's so many.
Sorry, can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
So, starting out as a neophyte devotee, at what point do you think I would be ready to go and preach, Prabhu? I don't know if you've answered this already, but I'm just curious.
So to preach means to explain.
Explain, yes.
We're not trying to be missionaries and converting people. Srila Prabhupada never validated that. So, if you can explain in a simple, transparent manner the essence of the Gita, and you can find that all in the introduction to the Gita. In fact, in the first 2 pages, Srila Prabhupada tells you the essence of the entire Gita. And if you go through the introduction, you'll see Srila Prabhupada even explains very elevated topics like rasa, in the introduction, let alone, in the introduction. So I would, but there's no like litmus test of when you can do it. Like, there's that famous, in BTG I saw, there's a nice article on Saraswati, the daughter of Malti Prabhu and Sham Sundar Prabhu. And Srila Prabhupada said, even though she was a little child, said she was a perfect, teacher, because she would go up to people and say, do you know who's Krishna? And they would say, no. And she would just say, he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Prabhupada said that was the perfect teacher. Now, you can carry that further. I think ultimately, something I heard Vaisheshika Prabhu say that I found very significant was he said, just like animals are sentient, meaning a dog can tell when you are actually trying to harm him or her versus when you're actually trying to care for him or her, right? And he said, human beings are same. They can tell whether you're coming in as I'm the pure devotee and all the rest of you are karmis, or you're not my friend, I just want to give this book to you. They can tell. If a dog can tell, why can't a human being tell? So for us, a lot of times we go in it with kind of from what I've heard by devotees who do this a lot, meaning explain and distribute and chant, is that we go into with a kind of like a material vision, because we're seeing them as those that are not favorable towards Krishna or to bhakti. We're not seeing them as actually devotees who are just, have a covering of the mode of ignorance. So the answer is, I think you can go and do that with all of your friends now. You can take a Gita and you can give that to them, and you can kindly volunteer to, I'm available to, let's think of the example of how you came in. Narottama Das Prabhu and Prema Madhavi Mataji invited you to a discussion group, and you've agreed, and you just had an exchange with them back and forth, and you felt your Krishna consciousness increasing, and you can extend that to others. Why not? Why not? You can create your own discussion group. I'm not trying to take you away from the discussion group you're in, but I'm saying in addition, you can do that. Nothing to limit you.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, thank you so much. It was very beautiful.
Thank you. Okay, so it's 12:34, and I know I'm keeping everybody from Arthik. But if you have interest in, for book distribution month to be part of this, maybe it's probably too late to send it out as a chat, but you can email me or management group, etc., and we can line up a kind of a conference call or something like that. I know that Mother Gurna Prabhu has big plans to distribute lots of Mortal Gitas, and I know Brahma Gurna Prabhu is happy to bring as many books as we are capable of sending out. But I think more than just sending out numbers, it's to explain Krishna's teachings. That's very wonderful. Okay, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Jai Shri Jaisacinandana ki jai. Thank you very much. Narottama Das Prabhu, would you like to, or Premrupa Madhavi Mataji, can we, I don't know whether the video camera in temple is back up or whether we go through, I see ISKCON Hillsborough. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Mataji, I think you've taken over screen share, yes?
Thanks, Prabhuji.
Okay.
This is Mayapur TV live.
Yes. Okay. So I think it's Lokanshu who is going to kindly sing the Arti Kirtan, and then William who is going to sing the Nursing of their prayers. So let's participate. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Lokanshu and Mataji. So are you ready?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Namah Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Thank you, Lokanchu. Thank you very much. William Prabhu, I think we'll switch back to the temple. So I think you can start because Pujari is standing there, okay? With nursing of the prayer.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Namaste Naidasim Haya. Namaste Naidasim Haya. Prahlada Daine Prahlada Daine Hiranyakasipurvakshaha Hiranyakashipu Vakshaha Shilatankanakalaye Shilatankanakalaye Ito Narsimha Pairaito Narsimha Ito Narsimha Pairaito Narsimha Yato Yato Yami Taito Narsimha Yato Yato Yami Taito Narsimha Bahir Narsimha Hridaye Narsimha Bahir Narsimha Hridaye Narsimha Narsimha Maidim Jairanam Prapadye Narsimha Maidim Jairanam Prapadye Tava Kaira Kamala Vaire Nakamadbhutai Shringa Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringham Keshavadrita Naide Hari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadish Hare. Jai Jagadish Hare. Tava Kaira Kamala Vaire Nakamad Bhutai Shinga Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringham Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare O Jaya Narsimhadev, Jaya Narsimhadev, Narsimhadev, Jaya Narsimhadev, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Naira Hari, Jaya Naira Hari, Jaya Naira Hari, Jaya Naira Hari, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Srila Gurudev, Nitai Gaura Haribol, 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 Gaura, Haribol. Jai Shri Nrsimhadev Bhagwan ki Jai, Prahlad Maharaj ki Jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Thank you, William Prabhu. Hope you're doing okay.